afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting of Wednesday, 21 January 2026. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, Berwick and Shire Council's meetings are recorded. By speaking at a council meeting, members of the public agree to being recorded. Berwick and Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory, discriminatory or offensive remarks or gestures that are made during the course of the council meeting. Opinions expressed or statements made by individuals are the opinions or statements of those individuals and do not imply any form of endorsement by Berwick and Shire Council. Confidential matters of council will not be recorded. Recordings are protected by copyright and owned by Berwick and Shire Council. No part may be copied, recorded, reproduced or transmitted without the prior written consent of the CEO. Any recording is not and shall not be taken to be an official record of Berwick and Shire Council meetings or the discussion depicted therein. Only the official minutes may be relied upon as an official record of the meeting. A record of the council meeting will be taken for administrative and minute preparation purposes only and is provided to the public for listening purposes to support council's statutory obligations. Berwick and Shire Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands in which we live and thrive. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. The people of these great nations, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and lands. Do we have any apologies, leave of absence? Not today. Do we have any applications for leave of absence? No. Attendance via audio-visual link. We have Zach Mann, staff member on AV, but nobody else. Confirmation of previous minutes. We have a recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 3rd of December 2025 be confirmed. Do we have a mover? Yep. Councillor Brooker, a seconder. Yep. Councillor Stringer, all in favour? Thank you, carried. Do we have any disclosures of interest? No, thank you. We do have a late coming mayoral minute. We'll now pause for a minute of silence to honour and remember the 15 innocent lives lost in the Bondi Beach terrorist attack on 14 December 2025 and to acknowledge all those injured and traumatised by this tragic event. We further honour the extraordinary courage shown by first responders and members of the public who acted selflessly and bravely in the face of imminent danger, demonstrating the strength, unity and compassion that define the Australian spirit. Okay, thank you everyone. Item 7, we have reports of committees. There are none. Okay, we're up to item 8 and I propose to move some items as a block as allowed by our new code of meeting practice. And those items will be 8.1 through to 8.7, 8.9 through to 8.11 and 8.15. Would any councillors wish to vote against or speak on any of those matters? If so, I'll remove those from that block. No? So do we have a mover of that block? Yep. Councillor Payne, a seconder, Councillor Brooker. All in favour of resolving that block? Thank you, carried. I wish to inform everyone that item 8.8 was included in error in the open agenda. That will be considered in closed council. So we'll now move to item 8.12, which is the quarterly budget review. That matter is for is for decision. So bear with me, I will get to that decision in a moment. 12, okay. So the recommendation is that Council 1 note the quarterly budget review statement for the period ending 30 September 2025, which has been prepared in accordance with the New South Wales Office of Local Government Guidelines and previously lodged with OLG following consultation regarding lodgement timing. 2, note the responsible accounting officer's declaration that, based on the Quarter 1 review, Council's overall financial position was satisfactory at 30 September 2025, noting that a negative restricted cash position was identified and is currently under review, with further reporting to Council to occur as part of the December 2025 QBRS, and note that no budget variations are proposed as part of this Quarter 1 QBRS. Do we have a mover? Councillor Dennis, a seconder. Councillor Brooker, thank you. CEO, we have a staff member to speak on this matter. Would you like to introduce them?
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to introduce Zach Mann to speak to this matter, who has prepared this report. Zach, hand it to yourself.
Thank you. Through the chair, a pleasure to meet you all electronically. Hopefully I can meet you in person soon. So I started at Berrigan in the middle of December, and the implementation from one software system to a new software system was finalised the week before. So there has been a lot of changes within the council, especially within the finances. So I took the adopted budget, the budget that was adopted in June 2025, and then because the quarterly budget review was due before the end of November, I contacted the OLG and requested an extension, and then also advised them that we wouldn't be making any changes to the original budget within the September QBR. We would just be reporting on the actuals. So that the correspondence between the OLG and the council led to that report being created. So that this report that has been tabled at this council meeting just demonstrates what the original budget was, what the actual results from last year were, and what the actuals for the first 3 months of 2026 financial year are looking like. Yeah, so that report is for council to endorse without any changes. Looking forward, the December QBR will be ready for the February council meeting, and there will be some changes just based on some of the decisions that were made with the original budget that probably aren't going to be realised. So that's the work that we're currently working on at the moment.
Thank you, Zach. Does anyone have any questions for Zach? Okay, well, we'll put the motion. All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you, carried. Thank you, Zach. We appreciate your attendance and no need to hang around.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. We're up to 8.13, which is the investment policy. The recommendation is that Council revoke the investment policy adopted on 20th of November 2024, that we adopt the attached investment policy and note the investment guidelines attached. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, did you wish to move it with an amendment? Yes. What would that amendment be?
I'll turn this on. I'd like to move with an amendment and remove the ability to invest in the categories of A rating and BBB ratings and then unrated institutions for approved deposit institutions unless approved by motion of council. This means that we would no longer invest with the Bendigo at the moment, but it doesn't mean that we can't come back and invest with them if it comes through Shire first.
Okay, so let's get a seconder and then we'll get you to speak to the motion. Do we have a seconder? Someone second the motion? Councillor Nardikoa. So, Councillor Stringer, would you like to speak in favour of it?
Yeah, thank you. At the moment we have 28 million on deposit and 24 million with AAA ratings and 4 million with the Bendigo, which only has a BBB rating. Their investment expires later in 2026, and I think we owe it to the people of this shire to make a stand against the Bendigo. They removed the bank from Tocumwal with no thought for all their customers in surrounding area. They promised that the ATM would stay, and 6 months later snuck into town and tore that out as well. They've closed the branch here, so I think we need to make a stand for the people in this shire and push back a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Stringer. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? No? All right, we'll put the motion. All in favour? Carried, thank you. We're at 8:14, which is the BSC Small Business Grants Program. The recommendation is that Council increase the allocation by $20,000 for the Small Business Grants Program to a total of $40,000 for the 25-26 financial year. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, a seconder? Councillor Dennis? Does anyone have any questions or comments before we go into debate? I did have a question that was on the register. I did want to clarify what the value of the consultation savings were. Director, Community and Development, I always have to check.
Through you, Mayor, the consultancy that was used during the annual report was just over 22,000. There are other savings for further work that they've done that council will also be doing in regards to operational plans.
Okay,
And that totaled just over 50,000.
okay. Excellent, thank you. Any other questions? Would our mover and seconder like to speak in favour of the recommendation? Councillor Stringer?
It was very successful with the last time round. I can't see why it wouldn't be. And the extra money will give us a chance to help more small businesses in the area get a boost up, and it can add to more employment. It can add to more people coming to town. So.
Okay. Anyone wish to speak against? I would like to suggest an amendment. I looked at the communications plan and I'd really like to see that plan cover promotion of the outcomes of the process. And that's in fact what I intended when I asked for a communications plan to come back. It covers leading up until we announce, and that's it. So I'd like to move that there is a communication strategy for promoting each of the successful applicants and the grants they received, and they have an obligation to opt in to that, to participation in that. Is the mover happy with that?
Yep.
Yep. Seconder, happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. And where I'm coming from in that is I think this is public funds that we collect. Sure, we get grant money and everything, but it's public funds. We need to be open and transparent about who's receiving the public funds, and we need to do that in a positive way as well. So, did you want to speak to that?
If I may, through you, Meg,
Yeah.
could I make a suggestion? The recommendation also
Yeah.
highlight that be outlined on the application form, because then they sign consent on that basis.
Yep.
I think if you're accepting council money, you have to be prepared to put that out there to the community that you've received it and what you've done with it.
Yep.
And I think also just seeing the businesses that have benefited from it to actually, like, obviously the Tote Brewery was one of them. I don't frequent there, so I didn't know anything about it. So I thought, well, that's really good to see where our money's going and that sort of thing. So I think having that positive after effect of promoting those businesses that have actually got in, they're trying to improve their businesses, they've been successful, this is what they've done with it. It only elevates the other small businesses to throw their hat in the ring and see what they can get out of it.
Yep. Excellent, thank you. Okay, so we have an amended resolution there, so let's put that motion. All in favour of the recommendation with that amendment? Excellent, thank you, carried. We're now up to 8:16, so we've already done 8:15. 8:16 is our quarterly one property report. The recommendation is that council note the information, strategic assessments and property review outcomes outlined in this report. Note the identified properties available for divestiture over the next 12 to 18 month period and endorse proceeding with a commercial market rent review for Tocumwal Shop 1. Approve the commencement of valuation, marketing and disposal processes for properties endorsed for divestment is noted in part 2 of this recommendation. And 5, delegate authority to the CEO to progress the divestment of surplus properties identified in part 2 of this recommendation that are no longer required for operational or strategic purposes in accordance with council policy and legislative requirements. Do we have a mover? No mover. Councillor Payne, seconder. Councillor Healy. CEO, did you want to speak to this recommendation before we go to questions?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Two comments I make. One is that this is probably the first time we've brought a comprehensive report like this to council, and this will now be a quarterly report that we'll bring, and we're looking to expand it as well. So there's a couple of other areas I think we can include. I would ask that councillors, in the report, and it's on page 70 of 97, there are 4 properties there that are identified as council owned that we could dispose of. The recommendation was that council could consider 2, being Denison Street in Finley and Baruga Street in Tocumwal. If council is of a mind that they wish to endorse that, we would like to see if councillors could add that, the mover and seconder could add that to point 2 in the recommendation.
Okay, mover and seconder, would you like to add that? Who is our mover and seconder? Councillor Payne and Councillor Healy?
I don't see why not, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
So with number 3, the, which is now moved, the
Denison Street.
review for the Tocumwal Shop 1, is that review an independent review or in consultation with the actual people who are currently leasing that?
So the review of the rent, are you talking about?
The commercial market rent review.
Yeah, the commercial market rent.
Yeah. So it will be between us, the agent, and the current tenant to discuss. Yeah.
Thank you, I just wanted that clarified.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
With the 78 Denison Street in Finley, is there a reason behind disposing of it? Like, I thought it was being used. So if we're looking at getting rid of it, is it no longer being used?
It's being used. There's a fair bit of maintenance that needs to happen there, particularly around the electrical work and the switchboard replacement. There are other options that the current people that are using it, which is the arts group, that we could explore.
And I guess that's where it was, making sure that they're not just being
Booted
afted.
out. Yeah.
You know, that they're, because obviously it is an art gallery and arts building. So do they have somewhere else that they could go and set up? And
I think that's something that we could look into. Yeah.
Okay.
We won't be. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, would our mover or seconder wish to speak in favour of this?
yeah, you were.
I don't see a problem with having a look at what the valuations will be. Not effectively signing a dotted line to sell it, but any of them. But at the same time, some of these properties do need to be rolled over and upgraded, updated. If they're draining in the form of repairs and things, if someone wants to renovate them in the long run and we upgrade our assets in the, I don't know, I don't see a problem with having a look and exploring that option.
CEO?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. This is just to give us the authority to kick off a process. Doesn't mean that we're actually intending to sell it straight away, because we need to go through a process and it needs to come back to council before any decision's made. So this is just to enable us to kick it off. And as part of that, we talk to, obviously, current tenants and users.
Sorry, I have a late question.
Councillor
if you're
Dennis?
allowed.
Yeah.
The question that I have is again about the properties that remain existing, including the properties that are looking at the commercial market rent. Is the maintenance of those properties included in that report? For example, number 3 with the commercial rent, is the maintenance of that property included within that discussion, or any other properties?
I would have to, I'm not quite sure. The discussion that they're having with the commercial one, at the shop one, is basically around rent, keeping in mind that there is some issues with the building itself. So, yes, it's not so much commercial rent, but having a negotiation and a talk to the current tenants.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against the recommendation? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. Okay, we're up to 8:17, which is about the reduced speed to 40 kilometres per hour. This was in response to a notice of motion that I put forward. And we have a recommendation at the top of the paper and also at the bottom of the paper, and they're not the same. So I would like to move the second one, which is option 2, proceed with speed zone reviews. So that's that council resolves to commence detailed assessments, produce a strategic urban plan, seek community endorsement and prepare formal speed zone review submissions to Transport for New South Wales for Vermont Street, Baruga, Deniliquin Street, Tocumwal and Chanter Street, Berrigan. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Nardikoa, it's almost unanimous, goodness me.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councillor Dennis.
Can we please identify the Deniliquin Street, because it's only a section of the street, not the entire street, and to make sure it's Deniliquin Street, not Deniliquin Road, or is Deniliquin Road included in that as well? Considering Deniliquin Road starts at the roundabout and then goes to the Tattersalls, and then from Tattersalls through to the post office, and just around the corner is Deniliquin Street, but then it continues on to Hannah Street. So I think just maybe a bit of clarity behind where that zone will be.
Gary, what is the section of this relevant street?
So at the moment, there is no actual zone, and this probably needs to be clarified around the zone limit and start, because in the strategic plan doesn't have a limit of where the 40k proposed zone is. So we need that feedback from the community before we go there, and we'll be probably showing options around that, because we've got other zones, customer requests along the same stretch of road, so we might have to extend it further for that length of road to take in the schools and whatever, so it could be lengthened.
So that
in
could
that
be
space.
part of the detailed assessment.
Yes.
That we've moved.
So does that mean it will be Deniliquin Road as well as Deniliquin Street?
Maybe, I think is the answer.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't confirm at the moment, because then you got Murray Street, so some of that might be probably included too. So because it's a CBD area and where the pedestrian high movement and off street, on street, so we'll have to define where the best is. It might be a zone, not just a street. So yeah.
Thank you.
Start at the roundabout and finish out at Bushlands.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question on why this is taking so long.
Well, there's a process.
I was screaming and yelling to Shire about this 5 years ago, and we're still doing this. Yet we other hat, TCDC hat, approached Shire about putting a mirror at the exit of the boat ramp out the other end of town, so that when you come off the road there, you could see both directions. And it got knocked down, and it got, one of the reasons it got that knocked down was we were told, oh, we're going to drop that down to 80 Ks. That happened overnight. That happened overnight, and it's still, you can't see to the left. Dropping it to 80 Ks did nothing. And we were willing to foot the bill for it if Shire put it up, but we've still got a main street that's deadly. And it's going to happen. Somebody is going to get really seriously hurt there one day, and it's just going on and on and on. We need to do something about it and stop pushing pens around.
Hopefully we'll get there.
Sorry?
Hopefully we'll get there.
Well, yeah, we need to get there soon.
Yep, agreed.
Through the Mayor, this
Yeah.
process is Transport New South Wales are the authority with speed zones. That has gone up a couple of times, and we have got refused. So in line with new amendments around the guidelines and standards, we've got to meet certain requirements and documentation now. So hopefully with this evidence around community sport and the plans, that we'll be able to push this through in these 3 areas.
And we'll be looking for councillors to harness that community support on these matters. Anyone else got any questions or comments? Shall we put that to the vote? All in favour? Okay, thank you, carried. 8.18, types of school bus stops. We have a recommendation, this is from a notice of motion from Councillor Payne, and the recommendation is to receive and note the information in the report responding to the notice of motion from 19 November 2025 relating to the bus stops. Do we have a mover? Councillor Payne, seconded Councillor Dennis. Did you want to speak to that at all, Gary? Anything to add?
Sorry, no, just the 2 processes are outlined in the report, and our responsibility in that matter of the school bus stops.
Thank you. Councillor Payne, did you have anything?
I just appreciate your time and effort on that report. Fair bit to digest there, isn't there? But, yeah, thank you.
Okay, all in favour and receiving and noting that? Thank you, carried. Okay, we have no notice of motions or questions with notice. So could I get someone to move us into closed council, please? Councillor Brooker, seconded Councillor Natikoa. All in favour? Thank you, carried. Welcome back. During closed council, we discussed item 8.8, which we received and noted the Finley Sale Yards NSQA audit report. We considered 4 confidential commercial matters, items 10.1 through to 10.4, details of which we cannot disclose at this time due to the commerciality. We'll now move to item 12, and I'll note for those at home, item 11, motions without notice and questions without notice are no longer applicable, given the new code of meeting practice that has come into force in 2026. So item 12.1 is my report. Before I go into the details, I wanted to actually which I have acknowledged in my Mayor's message for the month, acknowledge our volunteer fire brigades in each of our towns, Berrigan, Barooga, Finley and Tocumwal, and the CFA in Cobram also, who all have been engaged over recent weeks, and particularly those with the Yarrawee fire and the work they put in for that community, while some of them stayed at home to look after us while that was all happening. Also a shout out to the SES on both sides of the border and all our volunteers who look after us. We have another hot weekend coming, and all we can do is thank them for being brave and doing what they do. First item for me, 4th of December, seems like a long time ago. I had an advocacy meeting with the CEO. 10th of December, had a meeting relating to the Toke ambulance stats analysis for the last financial year, which is all received. That was in preparation for the Murrumbidgee Local Health District submission. We forgot to include that in this agenda. We should in the February. I will circulate the submission that we've made to you out of session so that you're aware. The 11th of December, I went to the Murray Regional Tourism Stakeholder Function in Yarrawonga. 12th of December, I went to the Council Awards and Recognition and the Staff Christmas Party briefly at the beginning in Berrigan. We had Carols by Candlelight in Barooga on the 14th of December. Again, that was well attended, big event. 16th of December, I went to the Cobram Secondary College presentation. 9th of January, I caught up with the CEO, catching up on all things that had happened over December, January, New Year. Had a meeting this morning in relation to Murrumbidgee Local Health District and some offerings they may develop, we hope, in relation to dementia care. And that's a watch this space. And then today's council meeting. Would someone like to move receiving of my report? Councillor Natikoa, seconded Councillor Payne. All in favour of receiving that? Thank you. Carried. We'll move to council reports. Councillor Payne, would you like to go first?
Yep, on the 5th of December, I attended the Berrigan Annual Christmas Street Party, as always, a wonderful event. And I just would like to acknowledge that a local born and bred resident, Jono JJ O'Dwyer, recently celebrated, surrounded by friends and family, an incredible milestone, turning 100 years young last week. It's a wonderful achievement and a nice moment to recognise within our community. Happy birthday, Jono.
Thank you, Councillor Payne, and happy birthday. Councillor Natikoa?
Nothing for me other than today's meeting, so.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis?
Just the awards over Christmas at the school, and I was asked to go to the Tocumwal Anglican, I'll get it out in a minute, Angling Club. Yeah, for fishing. My mum used to have an Anglican, so it's been in my brain. To the fishing club at Tocumwal for the release and for the award check to the SES as well.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Dennis. Councillor Hannan?
No.
Nothing. Councillor Stringer?
Where were we?
You had your
Councillor Dennis
carols?
and I both ended up at the Catholic School Awards night, and neither of us ended up at the state primary school one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I thought I was going, but I didn't get a meeting of it. But that doesn't matter. I got us out of the trouble on that one. We had the carols that we had to move at the very last minute into the hall because of the rain. The rain stopped, but the ground was an inch underwater, so we moved it into the into the hall in the main street, which was really good. It still worked out well. Santa was there. On Tokemall itself, the fishing club dropped 8,000 fingling cods into the river week before last, and on Tuesday morning, the DC dropped in 8,500 yellow belly, where the kids did it all. So that's been good for the river down there. All in all, Toke had a good Christmas, I think. It was thriving, but they all had to go home with the bushfires last week.
Yeah.
The volunteer brigade received a new fire truck about a week before the bushfires, so they were pretty happy and smicked. They went out, I think Trevor said, 4 times before they actually got to use it. They fronted up and the fires were out and they didn't get to use their truck, but then they got to use it a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to thank all them for all their hard work that they've done.
Yep.
That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Stringer. Councillor Healy?
Thank you, Mayor. Just the St Joseph's primary presentation night and also the Berrigan Christmas Street party on the 5th of December. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker?
It was on the 14th of December, we had the Barooga Carols, wonderful night, and the 17th of December, the Barooga Public Schools presentation day, and that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Just before we end our meeting this evening, I wanted to remind everyone we have our Australia Day celebrations on Monday, 26 January. Breakfast from 8 a.m. at Barooga Botanical Gardens. That's a fundraiser for Barooga Public School, and there's complimentary coffee from Odessi. We have our citizenship ceremony. I believe it's 13 people who will be becoming new Australians on Monday. And we also have an Australia Day Awards, and we have a guest speaker. It will be a good morning, albeit hot, so please bring a hat. That shout out for that. And that will conclude our meeting of today, 21 January. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, 18th February, and that one will be at 9 a.m. in the council chambers here in Berrigan. Thank you, everyone.